Yeah, yeah, yeah. Show me some. Show me some. Show me
Good
some.
day, madam.
Show me some. Hey, show me some.
Yeah. Okay, so we started. You still have to do a good day, bad.
Good day, sir.
All right, there you go. That was deep enough. So we started this one off with like Eskimo hoodies on, just so you guys will come watch YouTube.
If you want to see what's so funny, we were prepping for this episode and we had it. We're like, are we really gonna do this? Yes, we did. We are doing it, and it is.
Capes. Remember we talked? Didn't we end the last episode with capes?
Yes, we did.
So we wore our capes.
Oh,
how are you, buddy?
fantastical.
I'll give you a moment to fix your hair.
Woo! Hot in there.
It's so dumb.
Oh my! People are gonna stop watching us when we do something like
Well, the hope is that maybe they'll come over and watch, right? So they
Maybe.
could stop watching, and if that causes you to stop watching, well, then you're gonna suck at sales. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're already a badass at sales anyway, and we're just hoping to help one person anyway. So
Yeah.
well, you know, Miranda, this for me is an exciting topic. This is right up my alley, if you will. So we have the whole I can't afford it. Have you ever heard anyone say that, Miranda? I can't afford it. No, that's too much money. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard?
Happened.
You've heard it, right?
It has happened, and I hate it, and it's so frustrating. If you have had that before and you're so frustrated when that happens,
say me in the chat.
Say me. And say it out loud right now as you are watching this. Just say me. Just yell it.
Scream it. Scream it. Or you can say we, because it's happened to all of us.
Yep.
Or put I, me, or we in the chat. Will you guys do that for us? And don't tell us about our bantering, because I like our banter. And you know what? I'm gonna officially let that one go after this episode, Miranda. I'm done talking about it. I'm done thinking about it, and I'm done giving it any more any more space in my brain.
It is renting space in your brain.
It is. It really is. User 0766438-2. I'm just kidding. I don't even know who it was or what. I didn't have that written down. But Miranda, today our topic is going to be I just simply can't afford it. And I hit the reset button on my timer. I don't know if you did, but I'm sure somebody will tell us when the bantering is over.
I feel like we should start this one over.
Oh, we're not starting it over. We're not starting it over. I got a pretty good idea. I got a pretty good idea where we're at. But she wants to start over because she didn't want the hat thing. See, I'm all good with the hat thing. If you guys like the hat thing in the beginning, will you also put the number 4 in the chat, please? All right. So, Miranda, I can't afford it. And what the listeners want to know is, what do we do when we get, right? So we've talked about the most important 3 seconds on the phone. We've gotten through the 3 seconds. We've gotten through right? Deflect, object, take away. We've gotten them to show for their appointment because we get no-shows. We've gotten them through the presentation. We did an awesome role in purpose. We dug into their why. We've got it. We've got them through all the way up until the best part of the presentation. And then we hear, I can't afford that. What do we do, Miranda Martin?
Cry. First you cry, and then second. So here's the thing, okay? If somebody says that they have to think about it, right? Or even like they can't afford it. Number one, the why's not big enough. There's only 2 reasons. Why's not big enough, or it's too expensive. That's it. Their why's not big enough, or it's too expensive. So don't let yourself get in the weeds. It's one of those 2 things, right? So the first thing that if they went to do that, they said it's too expensive, I would just go back to showing plans again and show them something that's less expensive two options, one or two. So which one makes sense here, John? Which idea do you like the best? Pause. If they still say it's too much money, I'm going to go back to the drawing board, because guys, the why is not there, right? It's just not.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. And don't throw in the towel like too early.
No.
Right. And I always like want to give myself that wiggle room, buddy. Right. So like, I would never start at like $80 and $50 for a policy to present. I just wouldn't do it. Right. Because then what do I have left? $40 and 25 bucks. So what I always tell agents is like, try to start like at that, like for your first two options, start around that like $180 mark. And then your second option is going to be right around that $120 mark, and leave that as kind of a gap for yourself. Those are going to be your first two options, because then what can we do? Some people just have this number in their mind that if it's under $100 a month, they'll do it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But start off with 180 a month, and then your second option is going to be right around 120 a month. But I want to go back to something you said that I believe was more important than just becoming yet again an auctioneer. You don't want to become an auctioneer with pricing. You got to be very, very, very careful with this, because, and I want everyone to truly write this down, and I want you to like make sense of this in your brain. People buy because they like you, trust you, and understand how you're going to make an impact in their future. It's like, trust, and understand. Now, absorb this, please. The purpose behind the plan gives them the ability to understand. So if they like you, they trust you, and you can generate that purpose behind the plan, that will give them the ability to understand. And so whatever it is that you're presenting, make sure that there is a purpose behind that plan. Make sure that that policy serves a purpose, no matter what you're doing. I don't care if you're doing digital leads. I don't care if you're doing mortgage protection. I don't care if you're doing life insurance. I don't care if you're doing critical illness. I don't care what it is that you're doing. Make sure that there is a purpose, that policy is serving a purpose for that family, number one. Number two, in the absence of value, price doesn't matter. Write that down. In the absence of value, price does not matter. So I think it really goes back to the first option that we referred to, right? Or I'm sorry, the first thing that she said is that the why is not big enough. I think that that's the most important thing, because when it comes down to it, people will be willing to pick an option, and they're going to tell you like, hey, this is kind of out of budget. All right, so is what you're telling me that it's just a little too pricey, that if something were to kind of happen, you just want to make sure that you can always afford this because you understand how important it is? Yes. Boom, I got them, hook, line, and sink. Now I can kind of go down. I'm still going to offer up whatever the purpose is behind it. Miranda, tell me if I'm going all over the place or if you're kind of following the track that I'm talking about.
No, right? I 100% am. And there's one extra step here that I want to make sure everyone does. Okay, a few episodes ago, we talked about something that I would have a brand new agent memorize, master in the client presentation. It was the role and purpose. This is the second most important thing that I would have every single person master and memorize. And if you were here a long time ago, when we used to go to people's houses in our cars, there was something called the reel system, and there was only one paragraph of a script. This is the only thing we got, okay? And it still is just as important to making sure that people say that they don't want to think about it, right? And it's called the Decide Tonight takeaway, I think it's called on the new script that's on HQ. But this is exactly what you want to say before you dive into showing plans. Listen, John, I want to start by showing you the most comprehensive coverage. And I'm not going to start by showing you the most comprehensive because I want you to spend the most. Right. I know that you want the most coverage for your family. So if what I show you, John, is out of budget, I want you to tell me, okay? Because some people, they're going to beat around the bush, and say things like, I want to sleep on it, pray on it, think on it. And John, really what they're saying that it just costs too much. So can I count on you to tell me, again, I'm going to start with the most comprehensive, but can I count on you to be honest with me and tell me if the price is just too high?
Yeah.
And I still have that memorized from 8 years ago, because
Right.
that is so important. John, someone like John could probably whiz through and not say that and still help a lot of families. For me, I had to say that every freaking time, or they told me they wanted to think about it. They told me that it was too much. I had to hit the objection before they had a chance to say it. So that would be assignment number 2, memorize that darn thing. Because when I wasn't feeling my best, right, when I was unconfident, I would still say it, but I would still not help them. Why? They can sense my sucky sales vibe, you know? But when I said it, I said it with fun. I said it with confidence. It was like I would close 9 out of 10 people I got in front of. Okay. So I will get that as well up on the website under the role and purpose. I'll just put them both there. Okay. This under the same tab. So that you guys have that, because that is the most important 2 parts,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And
Stamped,
again,
sealed, delivered.
And again, right, like just really like she is 100% spot on. The why is not big enough or it's too expensive, right? And Miranda, I cannot tell you where, we've gone like, all right, John, so like we need to just figure out how I can do this, right? And I literally had people tell me that at the end of the presentation. So then we start talking about, hey, who's your cell phone service with? Oh, we're with AT&T. All right, let's look at plans from T-Mobile. Can we save you 30 or 40 bucks a month there? All right, where do you grocery shop at? Oh, we go to Walmart. All right, can we start looking at Aldi and see if we can save you some money there? Right? And it's just literally getting them to kind of nickel and dime their budgets, and that way they have like this justification of being able to afford this because that's
And
how bad they understand.
but this is somebody that legitimately can't afford it. So you've already gone through the why. This person really 1000% wants it. Now, like John's not going to do this with the guy that's selling him the excuse that he can't afford it. This is like a legitimate money. We need to find the cash, Ola type deal, right? When you do that with them, which I love.
Correct. And the thing is that everyone that says that they can't afford it you should be able to get them to that point by digging into their why and kind of going down that path and just really understanding what this coverage is going to do for them. I cannot tell you how important that is. I cannot tell you how important and I know that even digital leads and how fast that we go, Miranda, but I'm still going to just understand. I need to understand what this is going to do. If not, you're the same run-of-the-mill agent that they get dealt with on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. And you have to segregate and separate yourself from everyone else. And that is a way of doing it. And it's more of just that approach that like you care instead of just going through the motions of whatever it is that you're doing. So seriously, dig into that why. We have that episode. I don't know how far back ago it was, Miranda, but episode 3, 4.
There's probably a lot. You know that we've had like over 30 episodes. We've probably done a couple on it. So go find one.
Yeah, just go find one, digging deep into the why. Yeah, she's right. Go find one, digging deep into their why. And then again, from an affordability standpoint, I promise you is that when you offer up those two prices, right? You offer up those 2 prices, the first one at 180, around that 180 mark, the second one right around that $120 mark. You're going to explain the purpose behind those 2 plans. And then when you go to offer up the next 2 plans, make sure that you're explaining that purpose of what that is going to do. Like, so your first one might be 300,000. Your second one might be 200,000. All right. And let's say that their mortgage is 300,000, right? And you're offering up 3 and 2 for some reason. Our next offer might be right under $100 at $150,000. I'm still going to put a purpose behind that plan, Miranda. And I'm going to say, okay, now what this option is going to do, this is $150,000. This is what we call half the mortgage amount. Okay. Now what we do is what your wife or your husband's going to be able to do is they're going to be able to take this policy. They're going to be able to plow it into the mortgage. They're going to be able to refinance their mortgage. And instead of having a $2,000 a month payment, they're now only going to have a $995 a month payment. And they're going to be able to stay in this home. That is much better than your family going and living in an apartment for $1,000 a month. Would you agree with that? Yes or no?
So what you're doing, John, is you're basically taking their why and you're repeating it with the presentation of the plan. So when you say purpose behind the plan, you're repeating why they need it is what you're doing. And then asking them, do you agree with that? What are they going to say? Yes. And there's one thing that you always say, John, and this is so important. Sometimes budget-wise, we can't get them what they want, right? They have like champagne taste on a beer budget. And John, you say something a lot, and you can add on it, but you'll say, would you agree that something's better than nothing? Ryan Miller always taught me to like leave people better than we find them. It doesn't matter if that's an accidental death policy, it's just leaving them better than we found them. If they die tonight, is that family going to be okay or better than they were? Right? So
anything that you get them is 100% better than nothing. And truly, like you guys need to own this, and you need to like console with yourself and look yourselves in the mirror. And like, you cannot tell me that somebody that might be struggling from an affordability standpoint, that they're going to be better off with their spouse not being there because it's one less person to feed. That's ridiculous. So when you're walking away from appointments saying, well, they couldn't afford it, own that. Like, take that upon yourself to say, this is not okay. We need to figure something out because your family is not going to be better off. Like, I always took it this, like, I failed that family. I dropped the ball in that family. Like, I own that one because they truly can't afford it. They're not going to be better off. So like, stop thinking it's okay. Like, oh yeah, they couldn't afford it. No, that's not okay. Like, there's something wrong there. Right?
Yeah, if they're having trouble coming up with, you know, $25, $50, $100 a month for a life insurance policy, what's going to happen when they have a funeral and they no longer have that income and they no longer have that help? You know, if there's two heads of the household, like, you're absolutely freaking right.
Yeah.
So you owe it to them to master this. So sometimes I wish these things were an hour like we used to, John, because we could really go deep on this stuff, but it's 2023. We know people's attention spans are short, but drop in the comments if there's something you want us to be like training on. We're getting a ton of emails now, people requesting different things. So don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
John loves those emails.
Click like, click love, click. If you don't want to suck at sales, just click somewhere around here, Yao. Outside of that, come join us on YouTube. Bye, Yao.
Yeah. Show me some. Show me some. Show me some. Show me some.